I'm gonna get back to that story, Sonny. Just, just you listen to Boomer Great One. He's gonna tell you about how it was back in the olden days, back before fire, back when we walked uphill for everything. In fact, we didn't even have a concept of downhill because there was no downhill. Everything was uphill. We thought that was normal. We didn't even have a word for it because there was no alternative. It was uphill all the time. You just need to reach down and grab yourselves by your bootstraps and pull yourselves up, Sonny. Because when I was your age, I bought a house for $25,000. And I made that money on my paper route and bussing tables at the local cafe. And if I could do it, you can do it too. You just need to reach down and pull yourself up and just buckle up there, buckaroo. God, I hate boomers.
It's a phenomenon I've witnessed happen. You know, I'm getting old. It's great being 50. It's great being 50 and in being shaped because then you can make all these observations. And there's actually some veracity to them because you've been alive for so damn long. Generally, the trend has been, and I have seen many anecdotes indicating to you that's true, where the guy says, oh, yeah, I got divorced, 10, 15, 20 years ago, but I recouped. I recovered, get the kids through school, paid off the alimony, my last child support payment, blah, 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 blah. And then I found out my ex is piss poor, dirt poor, has nothing. Many times the ex comes back for more money where you're like, wait, what happened to the quite generous money we gave you before, where you essentially get, kind of a quasi government aid or a private sector check, I guess. And then you could work on top of it. You still can't make ends meet. So this comment in one of my videos reminded me of that. So I want to read it and kind of delve into it a little bit. Divorced back in 2010. All right, that's 14 years ago. Kept the house and kids in the divorce since 2010. Been putting the max allowable into the 401k to ensure I got max employer contributions. Got the 3 kids through college debt free. Leveraging some military benefits. They worked part-time and lived at home. Went to state colleges in the area. See, they're getting by. They're doing without. So just retired at a certain age. I'll be making $109,000 annually in pensions and Social Security. It's what happens when you work, man. It's what happens when you work and put money away. Have $1 million in the 401k and $190,000 in investments, $280,000 into bank CDs, so don't have to tap the 401k investments during the market downturn. Equity in the house. Bought the X out back in the day, 700,000. Never bought crypto because I just don't understand it. I don't think my ex is ever going to be able to retire. And I like this comment because it shows you one thing. What did the guy do? He worked. That's it. That's all he did is he worked. Now, he worked a lot and he worked hard and they did without and they saved and scrimped the money and put the money into the thing. But the key difference, and it could go either way, guy or gal, generally it's the guy. But usually, just like business partnerships, when I worked in banking, there were 2 people in the business partnership. There was the producer and the parasite, to go back to my previous video. But no kidding. There was the idea guy, and then there was the guy with the money who would just get screwed over, and he was trying to do all the work. Well, you never go into business partnerships. And marriage, a lot of time, marriage is a business partnership, but more literally and contractually than you might realize. But generally, there's a producer. I hate to use the word parasite because it's a pejorative, but usually there's a breadwinner and then someone who kind of takes care of the home, though that has changed more recently in times past. But it still doesn't mean on a economic level, there was a producer and then somebody who didn't produce as much. Rarely does someone just sit there eating bonbons and all that all day. Also, the way divorce court goes is you get alimony and child support if you happen to be the lower income earner. Doesn't mean you're a parasite, just means you're the lower income earner. But man, a lot of times, yeah, you are a parasite. There is a parasitic negative value spouse, could be guy or gal. And what ends up happening, especially if you avoid getting married again, is usually what's your typical pattern of marriage divorce in the United States? You get married in your mid to late 20s, add 7 years, you're divorced in your early to mid 30s, right? You're still young. You don't got that much money. Maybe there's some kids you got to pay some alimony or child support to, right? If you're particularly successful, you got to pay out a fair amount. But the parasitic spouse, the lazy spouse, the spouse that don't work, or I dare say, the spouse that spends too much money, they've never worked. That's the defining difference. There's the worker and the not worker, and that person doesn't work. Probably keep their spending the same, but they don't save up money. That's what they've a lot of times they've gone from child where mom and dad supports them to school where student loans support them to marriage where the spouse supports them. And then then the spouse, for depending if you have kids, that kicks out to support another 18 years, or depending on where you get divorced. All of a sudden, you got a person who's never really had to work or support themselves for 40, 45 years. And the last, whatever, child support payment or alimony payment, or they get the settlement and they pissed away on a car or clothes and all this other worthless horseshit. Yeah, by the time you are retirement age, what the commenter was, yeah, you got in from 35, roughly. Hang on, let me look this up. Average age of first divorce. 30 years old. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It's 30. That's even more time for you guys to make money and save up money. So from 30 to 65, that's 35 years. Okay, fine. You're paying some money out, but you're working, saving, working. Your ex is probably pissing away money, not working, not going to school for anything serious. And then all of a sudden, here we are at 58, 60 years old. It's time to get serious about retirement. And yeah, shocker. You're sitting on $1 million net worth with a good pension and everything else. And your ex from 10, 15, 20 years ago, whatever, hasn't got piss in his or her name, usually her. And that's why. And yeah, I know it sucks getting divorced. Why I don't know. I've never been divorced. I've never been stupid enough to get married. But yeah, divorce sucks. Yeah, paying child support and alimony sucks. But if you just work and save your money at the end of it, when it's all, yeah. One person knows how to work, the other one doesn't. The other one who doesn't, you've seen it. You could give them $250,000, $500,000. It's gone. It's fucking gone. Spent on dumb shit. And then there could be the point in time where it's like, well, you could get a job and support yourself, contribute to it. Nope, won't happen. And so I just want to point that out for those, usually the aggrieved, the victim in the actual thing. Not everyone's 100% innocent, I get it. But usually the person who's got to like pay out all this shit, lose half your fucking net worth, that you got to pay, you got to pay, you got to pay. At the end of the day, you're the worker. They don't work. And that's good. Compounded over decades. Oh yeah, that's going to show. And that's why your ex is usually piss poor. That's why your ex ain't got no money. Hell, I don't know. I've never been divorced, but I got to imagine after 5 years, the money's all gone in a lot of instances. Like, what happened to the fucking money? All you had to do was take that money, toss it in the S&P 500 index, and you'd be fine. No, it's spent on what? I don't know what exes spend their money on. Put the comment below. I'm real curious what you find out. Your wife gets the settlement. Your husband gets the settlement, because that happens 1 out of 10 times. Where'd they piss away the money? What they piss away the money on? And then here we are, 40, 50 or whatever. I got hosed at divorce court. I didn't have kids. I didn't get the kids. But you know what? At the end of the day, I was sitting on this. She ain't got nothing. That's what happens when you don't work. All right. No super chats there. Link below. A World Without Men. Oh, that's another reason. Generally speaking, while you see, what do you do with your degree in journalism? I mean, honest to God, what do you do with these degrees you guys all get? Meanwhile, the guys got them, engineering degree or an accounting degree. You're going to make more money over the course of life. Yeah. So go get A World Without Men, an analysis of an all-female economy. That right there is another thing. It's like, well, yeah, we produce the majority of the real shit in the world, and we get paid for it. It's usually why we have money left over at the end of our lives. All right. We'll see you guys later, Toodles.